We cannot create an object for interface because an interface does not contain any implementation. But what we can do is we can define the reference to interface. We can define the reference to interface and we can assign subclass object to interface reference, which is similar to like yesterday's class. So here, I'll come from the beginning. An interface contains only definition. Why? Because an interface contains all abstract methods. And moreover, whatever the methods you define in interface, they will be always in public section. And moreover, we cannot create an object for interface because interface does not have any implementation. And we can define the reference to interface and we can assign subclass object to interface reference, which is
subclass object can be assigned to interface reference. So the only advantage of interface is multiple interfaces can be implemented in single class. That is the only advantage here. If you compare with abstract classes, the advantage of interface is you can have multiple interfaces implemented in one single class. This is possible. But multiple abstract classes cannot be implemented in one single class. That's the main difference between interface and abstract classes. Multiple interfaces can be implemented in single class, but multiple abstract classes cannot be implemented in single class. So this is the main difference between abstract class and interface. And this is the advantage of interface also. Okay, what I'll try to do is, I'll try to create one interface here. I'm going to SC24. So in SC24 we can create an interface, set if underscore something like interface I'm providing. So here what you can do is you can define the methods. In interface you can define the methods. Say for example, select MD, delete MD, something like update MD. Something like this, you can create the methods. That means you can define the methods here. And you can see select MD, delete MD, update MD I've created. And here I'm selecting this method, I'm defining the parameters. For select MD I'm defining the parameters. So for example, iTab, I want to export and I want to take one table type. So I'll create the table type. I want to declare internal table, so I'm creating one table type in S11.
variable type, you can use it here. And I want to declare one more parameter like count, exporting with data type integer.
Similarly, I'm trying to go to delete method. I want to define parameters. Say for example TID and some status. TID I want to use it as importing. Status I want to use it as exporting. Whenever there is a single parameter to send, you can use exporting or returning also you can use. If you want to send single parameter, then you can use returning or exporting. It's of your choice. So I'm using returning here. So I just want to declare two methods, which these are the two methods we have declared. Select MD, delete MD. And for these methods, we have not implemented any coding because we are in interface now. But method can have method parameters. Method can have method parameters inside interface. Now what you can do is, you can take these interface methods and you can implement in different classes. One interface can be implemented in multiple classes. One interface can be implemented in multiple classes, and multiple interfaces can be implemented in single class. This is also possible. So when we implement one interface in multiple classes, that means you can provide different implementations. The meaning of that statement is, we can provide multiple implementations for same method of interface. We can provide different implementations in different classes. When one interface is implemented in multiple classes, the advantage is we can provide different implementations in different classes for same method. This is similar to abstract class. Abstract class methods also can have different implementations in different classes. Okay, so now I'm activating this interface. So this interface has to be implemented in one class. So I'm creating one class now. Give it as C24. Let us create one class. So in this class, as a developer, you can go to interfaces section. Inside the class, there is an interface section here. So inside the class, if you go to interfaces section, you can provide your interface name. What is the interface we have created? ZIF_interface. So when you provide interface name inside the class, automatically you'll get those methods here. You can see
interface name tilde symbol method name. Interface name tilde symbol method name. So as soon as you provide interface name here, all the methods of that interface will participate here. And as a developer, as I said, you can also provide interface 2, interface 3, etc. here. Based on your requirement, you can implement multiple interfaces in single class. So remember that is advantage when you go with interface option. Okay, one interface is implemented now in our program, so you can go to methods. All methods of that interface will participate.
An interface is implemented in a class. We get interface name, then tilde symbol you will get, and method name. Interface name, tilde symbol, method name. You will get like this when interface is implemented in a class. When interface is implemented in a class, you will get this interface name, tilde symbol, method name. So when you open any class, and if you find these type of tilde symbols, means they are nothing but part of interface methods. Interface methods are nothing but abstract methods. So remember that. This is an identity to recognize whether this is a normal method or interface method. So interface method means you will get interface name, tilde symbol, method name. Now, what you can do is, okay, this is an interface method inside the class, so you can double click now. You can double click that interface method and you can implement in the class. So here you can see interface name, tilde symbol, method name, and whichever method parameters are declared, they are also visible here. Whichever parameters we have declared in select MD in interface, those things also will be available. iTab and count, you can see this. You can see iTab and count. So what you can do is you can write your query based on those parameters. So here we are using iTab and count inside this method, and these are the parameters of this method, which is already declared in interface. So method is defined in interface, but it is implemented inside the class. Method is defined in interface, but it is implemented inside the class. This is the technique we follow generally. And you can double click on delete MD, and you can see signature. Signature means it will show the parameters defined for that method. You can see TID and status. Say for example, I want to use
So I'm just writing a delete statement here. So delete method is defined in interface, but it is implemented inside the class. So let me remind you one point here. Abstract methods of interface can have different implementations in different classes. Remember that. This is similar to our abstract class. Remember that. Different abstract methods of interface can have different implementations in different classes. Now we have provided implementation. The same interface you can take it into another class and you can implement the methods again with different coding. Okay, now I'm activating this. Okay, say for example, I want to use these particular interface methods. If you want to use these interface methods, so first of all, I'll try to create one WebDemPro component here. So I'm creating one component. Before that, I will try to highlight one more point. If a class is not implementing at least one of the abstract method of interface, if a class is not implementing at least one of the abstract method of interface. In interface we have created abstract method, and if one of the method is not implemented in a class, then that class also becomes abstract class. So remember that if a class is not implementing at least one method of interface, then class becomes abstract class. So you should remember this. So let me go to now WebDemPro. Let me create one component to understand the usage of interface. do is, when you try to use that interface in Webdin Pro, if you want to use the interface methods inside Webdin Pro, so first of all what you can do is, you try to define, you can define the reference to interface. You can also define the reference to abstract class. Yesterday I was highlighting that point. In today's class what I can say is, you can define one reference, interface reference. You can define one interface reference by using type ref2, that interface name, ZIF_interface. And then you can create an object. You can create an object, type ref2, the class name, ZCL class. And you can't create object for interface, but you can create object for class. So if you closely observe, we are creating object for class, but we have defined interface to reference. Sorry, we have defined reference to interface, but we have created object to class. And then what you can do is, one of the technique is, you can use obj, you can assign that object to, you can assign that object of a class to interface reference. You can do like this. Object of a class can be assigned to interface reference. Object of a class can be assigned to interface reference, and now on interface reference you can call the methods. So what is the first method? Select empty. And you have to pass the parameters. Importing some itab equal to LT_itab. You can import into our Webdin Pro, and you can import count equal to, say for example, t count, and that t count you can declare here. So this is one of the approach. After getting the data into LT_itab, you can use LO_ND_itab. This is a normal approach. You can call bind table and all those things and pass LT_itab. This is our normal approach. Bind table is to assign output records to node. But before binding the data, you can call like this. You have to create object for a class and assign that object reference to interface, and on interface you try to call the method. While calling the method, you have to pass the parameters. This is the approach you have to follow. Let me repeat. You try to create object for a class, but that class should implement all interface methods. Remember that point. You have to create an object for a class in which that class has implemented the interface methods. Remember that. Then only you can assign object to interface reference. And then on interface reference you can call that method and pass the parameters. This is one of the technique. The alternative technique is, you can also use one alternative technique like so directly what you can do is, you can define the object to class. and you try to create the object for that class. Then on object itself you can call interface method. You need not assign object reference to you need not assign object to interface reference. If you don't want to do that, then you have to provide your interface name directly here. ZIF underscore interface name. Then you have to use tilde symbol method name. And these parameters will be same. This is the approach you have to follow. And bind table, that's a common thing. If you want to assign data to node. So the point here is, in first syntax, we are assigning object to interface reference, and on interface reference, we are calling the method. That is technique 1. In second technique, what we are trying to do, we are creating object for a class, and on object directly we are calling interface method here. You can recognize that. On object itself, we are calling interface method. So in second technique, we are not assigning object to interface reference. We are avoiding that line, and we are directly calling interface methods here. So you can use any syntax. Whichever is comfortable to you, you can use any syntax.